Hey, what's up everybody? So today I want to talk to you guys about creating a dividend portfolio. So in this video, I'm going to share with you one strategy of being able to create a dividend portfolio that works pretty good. And you can pretty much do it no matter how much money you have. You can start with whatever it is that you can, and you're able to still build some dividend income. So it actually sounds like it might be two strategies in this video. But hey, if you're new to this channel, feel free to stick around. My name is SoFi. I love to talk about finance. I love to talk about money. I love to talk about investing. I love to talk about being able to use wisdom so that way that you can succeed from no matter wherever you are. Okay guys, so several years ago when I started investing, now I know today people kind of have a term for what I'll be talking about. I don't really have a term. Some people call it maybe stagger investing, dividend investing or whatever. But basically what happened is when I started investing, I used to do some trades and take a lot of risk as well. But outside of that, I always had a portfolio where it was just like conservative. It was strong companies that was going to be around for a while. And typically I would invest in companies that had dividends. That was like 90% of that particular portfolio. So then the thing with being able to invest in companies with dividends is that not all of them pay their dividend out on the same time, at the same time, or on the same day, in the same month. And some of them pay out every single month. Some of them pay out 3 times a year, 4 times a year, which is like every 3 months or every 4 months. And some of them pay out, as little as just once a year or maybe even twice a year. But that literally creates an opportunity to where you can actually see dividends coming into your portfolio literally every single month. Now, the way that is done is that you simply are buying and investing in companies that pay out dividends. You're not just investing in one, not just investing in two, but you may have a portfolio of like, let's say maybe 10 dividend companies. For some that really understand what I'm talking about, they may have a portfolio that has 20 different companies or even 30 different companies. So it's kind of like if you own an index fund or ETF, except in the index fund and the ETFs, they will pay you out a dividend like every 3 months, whatever the case is, but you won't get a dividend from each company that's being owned, because that's part of how they make money. So they just pay you out a fractional of that piece, but it's every single 3-4 months or whatever the case is. But now here is where you kind of create the portfolio yourself. Now, good companies to use for that are companies like that have fractional share investing and allow you to be able to do that, because you may not be able to buy a whole share of every single company, especially if you have a lot of dividend companies that are really great and all of them are about $100, a share, and you don't have that much money. You can be able to put money into each one and still be able to get dividends from each one. So having a good company that allows you to buy fractional shares is definitely a plus in trying to build this strategy, or even having a company, for example, like M1 Finance. Now with M1 Finance, it allows you to build like a portfolio of your choice. You can put whatever stock you want to put in there, and when you invest money into it, it's going to put money into that entire portfolio. And so with M1 Finance, what you would do is you would actually, kind of set how much percentage you would want, every time you deposit money, you would set how much percentage of that you want to go in each individual stock. And it would do that for you automatically. So what that does is that splits up your money and it invests it into different companies. So if you're constantly investing in something like that, where you're able to, put money in this portfolio, and let's say you have 20 different stocks, right? And they're all paying you different dividends, then what you're going to start to see is little incremental fractional pieces of dividends start to pay out every single month. And depending on how you do it, you'll see dividends almost every single week. And you might not even be trying to plan, but basically it's finding the best dividend stocks or companies that you feel like would be great dividend companies to hold, companies that are doing fairly well, and they all pay out at different times. So like really what you'll see like on your report, you'll get notifications like every week or every month. You'll just be seeing transaction after transaction of dividends. Now, depending on how much you invest in your portfolio controls how much dividends you'll see from each company. But basically what that does is that starts to build that portfolio, because you're having that money starting to come in. Now, let's say if you didn't use M1 Finance, use a company like, let's say for example, like SoFi. Well, with SoFi, you can buy fractional shares of different companies. So let's say you deposit money in SoFi and the companies you want to buy, and you say, I'm gonna take $1,000, I'm gonna put it in here, and I got 20 different stocks that I want to buy. So then that means you're going to take $50 and you're going to put it into, the 20 different stocks that you want to buy that all have dividends, and that will still cause you to get, the dividend income coming in every single month or every single week, depending on, how it's set up. And that's just an example. But let's say if you were not using a company like SoFi, let's say using a company like Webull, right? So if you're using Webull, at the moment, Webull doesn't have fractional shares. So you'd have to buy a whole share. So you'd have to come to the table with a little bit more money, but you could do the same thing. You could pick 10 different stocks or 20 different stocks. And if you have the capital to invest in all those stocks and buy one share, then you're going to get the same effect. So basically the example that I'm giving you is kind of like you're creating your own type of portfolio, right? Well, basically it is your portfolio, but you're kind of creating your own type of fund, your own type of portfolio to where you're going to be able to invest money. And I recommend companies that do fractional shares and companies like M1 Finance that allows you to, because their system is pretty good for stuff like that, to where you can just invest the money. It's going to automatically put it into, your investments, and then you're going to constantly see notifications, and you can go and look on your activity report, and you'll constantly see that you're having dividends coming in, which means that your money is making some type of money. So starting out, of course, you won't see a lot unless you invest a whole lot of money. But just being able to build a portfolio like that shows you, if you were to continue to do this, you can continue to build that money. And I absolutely love this strategy because I do it with my M1 Finance account in particular. It's filled with tons of different dividend companies and things like that. Now, if you're interested in checking out M1 Finance, I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll also leave a link to a sample portfolio that you can look at. You can even use it to start investing if you want and change stuff up. But I'll leave that link in the description where you can check it out and see. And once you deposit $100, you'll actually get $10 for, just open up an account and depositing $100. They'll give you an extra $10. But check out the link in the description below so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about, like having a portfolio that's filled with different dividend companies and things like that. But hey guys, I hope that's been super helpful just in how to start thinking about building a dividend portfolio that's going to pay you money, whether you're doing any work or not, just because you've invested smart. So I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and I will see you soon. Be sure to like and subscribe. Peace out. Be blessed.